called off, but the Prime Minister will stick to all the other prior engagements that he had focused on in Australia. So a lot, in fact, that's lined up over the next 6 days. But this particular visit to Japan also is loaded with significance, with symbolism. First, for starters, the fact that he's in Hiroshima, he's going to be laying a wreath at the memorial, as did other world leaders. And after that, he is going to be unveiling a Gandhi bust. Reportedly, he will be accompanied by the Japanese Prime Minister for that particular moment as well. And these are the images that we're getting to you from Hiroshima. The Prime Minister has just deboarded from Air India One there. You can see that he is being greeted by the Indian officials who are present in Japan, besides the state representatives from the Japanese government who are there to welcome the Prime Minister. And while he's touched down later in the evening, tomorrow is going to be a packed day for the Prime Minister. He is going to be also part of several crucial bilaterals where the focus will be on trade. The focus also, very importantly, will be on climate change. This G7 meeting is also one that's being watched out for, considering that the Quad Summit in Australia was called off. And the fact that it's happening in Hiroshima, which is reportedly the Japanese Prime Minister's hometown, that also sends across a very clear message. Ukraine, of course, the war is going to be one of the biggest talking points, and with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky also touching down in Hiroshima, it will be interesting to see what are the takeaways of that meeting between Prime Minister Modi and the Ukrainian President. These are live images that we're getting to you from Hiroshima. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has touched down. He's just also gotten into the official car and will be heading into the city where he'll get a bit of rest, and then will be on a non-stop series of meetings, bilaterals, and of course is also going to be addressing the G7 summit. As the last few summits have taken place, and in every single case since the Russia-Ukraine war, that will be the biggest talking point. You've got all of the 7 of the world's most powerful democracies, essentially, that have come together right now in Hiroshima. You've got Prime Minister Modi, who will be there for the next 24 hours at least. This is in the hometown of the Japanese Prime Minister, Fumio Kishida. So it will be interesting to see also the photo ops that emerge from there. You already had all the other world leaders present. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, the South Korean Prime Minister is there. You've got also US President Joe Biden and all the other members of the G7 who've already touched down. So the Prime Minister will also be there to go ahead and lay a wreath first at the memorial and unveil the Gandhi bust, as I mentioned as well. We're understanding that there will be a bilateral meeting between Prime Minister Modi and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on the sidelines of the G7 meeting. Now, also there have been very important takeaways from this particular G7, with the Quad leaders meeting not taking place. All that was to be discussed as far as trade ties are concerned, as far as the scenario with regards to the war is concerned, all of that will come up also in this particular meeting. Earlier, you had leaders of the G7 who were already in Hiroshima going ahead and laying wreaths at the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park. Prime Minister Modi is also going to be making his way there when he kicks off his official engagements. There have also been several meetings that have already taken place after this. As I mentioned, Prime Minister Modi is going to be making his way to Papua New Guinea, and then he's going to be heading to Australia, where he will be meeting with the Australian Prime Minister. Our Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan is live with us for more details on this. Geeta, images on our screens of the Prime Minister having touched down in Hiroshima. To you, Geeta, what's the most crucial engagement really that he will be a part of in this visit?
Well, from the beginning, the fact that Japan is hosting the G7 in Hiroshima in itself speaks of what the main topic is going to be, owing to the Russia-Ukraine war. Nuclear disarmament is something that the world leaders are going to discuss and talk about. But Akshita, for India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has already spelt it out that he is going to amplify the voice of the global south. There are concerns with regards to food security, energy security, all of which comes from the fact that there is conflict and war, not just in Russia, Ukraine, but the pulls and pushes of geopolitics across the world that is costing many countries dearly, and the worst sufferers of this are countries from the global south. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi will make a strong pitch for peace, because that peace will bring about some sort of energy and food security, security in development matters. So that's going to be Prime Minister Narendra Modi's agenda in the working sessions which he will be attending as a guest, because India is a guest nation. We've been a guest country since 2003,
Yes.
when for the first time Vajpayee was invited, and after which Manmohan Singh attended these summits. They were
Okay,
called
Geeta, I'll
G8
just
back
come
then.
back to you. My apologies for interrupting, but let me bring in Nupur Tiwari on this broadcast. She's joining us live from Hiroshima. Nupur, of course, there's a lot of focus on this particular visit by the Prime Minister and the G7 summit overall. The Ukrainian president, we're hearing, is also there. So there's that bilateral to look forward to between Prime Minister Modi and the Ukrainian president.
Yeah, so this is going to be a very, very important meeting between Mr. Modi and Ukrainian president, because the Japan needs India, and definitely more than India needs Japan these days. And Japan knows, especially the relation between Japan and India, it's the strongest ever, the best ever. So here, Mr. Kishida definitely wants Mr. Modi to have a meeting with Ukrainian president, because India does not support Ukraine, neither Russia. So this neutral role does not satisfy these nations, especially Japan, USA, UK. These actually it doesn't satisfy them, and that is the reason I think Kishida is the Japan-India relation is, as I said, best ever. So that is the reason actually they are I would say they are using the situation G7 to have that meeting with Mr. Modi, between Mr. bilateral meeting between Mr. Modi and Ukrainian president, because today all those parties, all those the UK, USA, or Japan, they're completely supporting Ukraine, but India is the only country, and especially the Quad country, who is not supporting neither US, neither Russia nor Ukraine, and that is the problem for this country. They definitely very, very desperately they want Indian support, and that is the reason here this meeting is going to be very important. Many important decisions are going to take these people. And as you know, here actually the Mr. Modi is going to arrive anytime soon, and tomorrow he's going to unveil the statue of Mahatma Gandhi in Japan, in Hiroshima. So everybody is emphasizing on peace in the world, and that is going to be the security peace. They are going to be the main agenda, I think, in these bilateral meetings, and Mr. Modi definitely going to play India's role as a superpower here. It will play one of the biggest role, because as I said earlier, that Japan desperately needs India, not only as a friend, definitely they need as a supporter of who are along with them to support Ukraine as well, to be a total group. India is the only country who is not supporting Ukraine. So here, tomorrow's meeting, especially the G7, all the meetings, the Quad meeting is going to might happen here too, where the Sydney might get cancelled as well. It's not sure yet.
Okay.
But these, if it takes place here, and these G7 meetings, then definitely these meetings are going to be game changer for all over the world.
They're definitely going to grab headlines for sure. And Nupur, you're right in saying that India is a proponent of peace, which is why our role in G7, our role in the Russia-Ukraine conflict is a big talking point, a big focus area. You've had Ukraine constantly appealing to India to play a mediator role, and that perhaps is something that will be emphasized upon by Ukrainian President Zelensky in his meeting with Prime Minister Modi, besides, of course, the big takeaways that will emerge from the G7 summit. Thanks very much, Nupur. Thanks to Geeta also for joining us on this broadcast.
are watching India Today.
We broke CM Sita 48 hours before all.
Most of them have.
We broke Deputy CM DK 12 hours before all.
Their exit poll was the exact poll.
We broke Karnataka formula 72 hours before all.
We have that answer for you now on India Today. Siddaramaiah will be the next Chief Minister of Karnataka.
India's #1 political team is unrivaled. Every news break, first on your channel.
You are now smiling and accepting Deputy Chief Ministership.
We have promised them that we'll give a good government with a good governance.
Keeping you ahead is our promise. The war has ended. India Today stands tall.
Siddaramaiah will be the Chief Minister of Karnataka.
The Karnataka thriller is over. On the face of it, the marathon race has had a happy ending, with the winner Siddaramaiah and the runner-up DK Shivakumar making the right noises. The final act in the script was written by Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge, who burnt the proverbial midnight oil to work out a compromise between the two contenders. The Gandhi's point person in the whole saga, K.C. Venugopal, met Siddaramaiah and Shivakumar back-to-back on Wednesday night between 9:45 p.m. and 11:15 p.m. Sources indicate Sonia Gandhi, now in semi-retirement, played a key role in preparing the peace pact. Over 2 hours later, at 1:45 Thursday morning, the message was sent out to the media. The deal is done, and the oath will take place on Saturday in Bengaluru. Official word will have to wait. The confirmation came from DK Shivakumar at 9:20 a.m.
Are you happy with the formula that has been worked out?
See, Congress party, we have a commitment before the people of Karnataka.
Yes.
Parliament elections are ahead. So in larger interest of the party,
Yeah. You have agreed to the formula?
why not?
At 10:30 a.m., Siddaramaiah, Shivakumar and Surjewala had a breakfast meeting at Venugopal's residence. The menu: dosas, idlis, vadas, and of course, a photo op. An hour later, Randeep Surjewala tweeted photographs of Siddaramaiah and Shivakumar with Kharge. A Congress press meet followed at 12 noon. The script obviously being followed to the T. This was first official announcement.
Siddaramaiah will be the Chief Minister of Karnataka. DK Shivakumar will be the only one Deputy CM. He will continue as a PCC President till the Parliament election is over.
The formula made public missed one vital point. Will the CM be rotated?
Power sharing formula is to share the power to the people of Karnataka. That's all.
LIC हर पल आपके साथ। एयरटेल 5G Plus।
G7 nations convene in Japan. PM Modi's historic Hiroshima visit. 3 days, 6 nations, 20 engagements. Amid raging Russia-Ukraine war, PM Modi to meet Ukraine President Zelensky. Decoding India's global power play on 5 Live.
Prime Minister Modi has just landed in Hiroshima, Japan. He becomes only the second Indian Prime Minister to reach the historic city in Japan that was the target of the first ever nuclear attack in August 1945. He's in Japan for the G7 summit. Huge implications of this visit. We're going to cut across the live pictures in just a moment to show you the Prime Minister's arrival in the city of Hiroshima. I'm Shiv Aroor. First, as always, the headlines. Shocking twist to Aryan drug saga. Exclusive Shah Rukh Wankhede chats accessed by India Today. Shah Rukh pleaded for his son on WhatsApp chat, refused to bend to the blackmailing team. Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar reached Delhi for key meeting on Karnataka cabinet formation. Mega swearing-in ceremony at noon tomorrow. Prime Minister Modi on his milestone visit to Hiroshima in Japan for the G7 summit. Prime Minister to meet Ukrainian President Zelensky, a first since the Russia-Ukraine war. Bilaterals with Japan, South Korea and Canada also slated. Supreme Court appointed panel report on Adani out. Report says no artificial trading of stocks, no pattern of artificial trading or wash trading. Aishwarya Rai Bachchan's can appearance in a silver hooded gown trends online, polarizes, sparks a storm of memes, ridicule and praise. Okay, the Prime Minister has just landed in Hiroshima a couple of minutes ago and he has just tweeted. He says, landed in Hiroshima to join the G7 summit proceedings. Will also be having bilateral meetings with various world leaders. The Prime Minister will spend the next couple of days in Japan. This is a 3-nation tour which includes Papua New Guinea and Australia as well. But the next 2 days are going to be in Japan. He is here in Hiroshima. He's landed in Hiroshima. He's been received by senior officials of the Japanese government. He will be meeting with the Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida as well in a short while from now, and will be leading peace tributes at the Hiroshima Memorial tomorrow ahead of the G7 summit. Images here of Indian diaspora who welcomed the Prime Minister to Hiroshima. Let's go straight across and get a live update from the ground in Hiroshima. Joining us is Nupur Tiwari. Nupur, thanks for being with us. Lots of rapid movements. The Prime Minister is in Hiroshima. Big crowd I can see behind you. We saw lots of Indian diaspora welcoming the Prime Minister as well. What's happening right now, Nupur?
So it is, as you can see, we're very excited here and they all are waiting here. Any moment, PM Modi will be arriving here. There are a lot of people. Hiroshima, only maybe 200 Indians are here, but the people from different parts of Japan, they have come here. You can see that People are here really very excited to welcome Mr. Modi, and you can see that a small kid also here. So hi, are you excited to meet Mr. Modi?
Yeah.
So which part of do you live in Hiroshima?
Yeah, I live in Hiroshima, near here.
And near here you live. So how excited are you?
I'm so excited. The top leader for me is a very nice person. विकास
पुरुष है तो उनके लिए आप आए हैं उनको देखने के लिए जी बहुत तमन्ना थी जब आपको मिल गया वो तमन्ना आज पूरी हो गई और आपने अपने बच्चे को भी लेके आए क्या बात है एक बच्चा है नो आई थिंक शी इज गोइंग टू रिमेंबर आई थिंक forever that she came to meet Mr. Modi, and we can see there's some more people also here. So would you like to how excited you guys are? Very excited. So आप लोग इधर से ही है हिरोशिमा से है you are from Uttarakhand, so you live in Hiroshima, and how excited how this is dream come true, right? The dream come true, and how are you going to what would be your words? क्या बोलने वाले हैं मोदी जी को आप लोग अगर वो आपको कुछ मौका दिया जाए क्या बोलेंगे आप?
वो सिर्फ एक ही बात बोलना चाहिए कि
हाँ जी keep
Yeah.
doing what you are doing.
Yeah.
है ना? हाँ he's doing great. उनको लेके proud feel करते हैं.
Yeah, he's a very inspiring person.
Inspiring personality. Inspiration for everyone.
Yeah.
Wonderful. तो यहाँ पे देख रहे हैं कि कोई और भी वीडियो ले रही है, तो आपको कैसा लग रहा है? आपको इधर आप लोग भी हिरोशिमा से है?
हम हिरोशिमा से है।
कैसा लग रहा है?
बहुत ज्यादा
साथ में आप ब्लॉग भी बना रहे हैं। तो ये इंडिया टुडे पूरे देश देख रहे हैं आपको। ये इंडिया टुडे है। हाँ इंडिया क्या बात है। तो मतलब आप लोग आज आपको अगर मौका दिया जाए कुछ बोलने का, क्या बोलेंगे आप लोग मोदी जी को?
बहुत
प्राउड फील करते हैं मोदी जी के लिए, उनके जो इमेज उन्होंने बनाया, बहुत प्राउड फील करते हैं। वाह क्या बात है। तो मोदी जी भी बहुत प्राउड फील करेंगे ये सब जानते हुए। और जैसे आप लोगों को दिखाई दे रहा है कि बहुत सारे लोग इधर आए हुए हैं, और let me just show you that all the beautiful faces are here. Beautiful faces are here. They're just waiting for Mr. Modi to arrive, and you can see that I'm sure that you can see that everybody, the government officials also, embassy officials also are there, and there's an Indian diaspora in Japan welcomes Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi as a board. That board also over there. So many children are there. Look at this. The Chanda Tiranga. So many children are there. So yes. So many children with the Tiranga is holding Tiranga, and so white dress. The kid, we can see that some kids are in white dress. So wonderful things. It's just like a festival. People are really excited. So would you like to say something? How do you feel?
Yeah, it's very wonderful.
You feel so where did you come from?
I'm from Nagpur.
Yep, no, in Japan. Where? Which part of the country? Oh, yeah, okay. So what do you do?
I'm sitting in Hiroshima.
Okay, so if you're given a chance to say something to Mr. Modi, what would be your sentence or word?
Well, it's very honorable for us.
Mm-hmm.
India Prime Minister is here, and we are here to welcome. So I think very soon he is joining, and we welcome him.
He's going to come very soon, and you're excited to welcome him. Right, wonderful. Thank you. So we can see so many people came from Tokyo, also Kobe, also Osaka, also lot of people. Hiroshima, very less Indians here. So many people are came from different parts of Japan, and too many children also here. So this is a total festival for Indians here. And for me, it is, since I live in Japan, so it is so many known faces here also. A lot of known faces from different parts of Japan. So wonderful to see so many people here.
Nupur, just a note of curiosity, because not a lot of people are aware. How is it that there are so many Indians who live and work in Hiroshima? What kind of, jobs are there? I don't want to sound ignorant, but, many people will be wondering that, Indians living in Japan would usually be in Tokyo and other places. How are so many Indians in Hiroshima as well?
Right. The gentleman next to me, actually, he said he's a professor. You teach. You're a professor, right?
Yeah.
So which university do you teach?
I'm in Hiroshima University.
Hiroshima University.
He's also
He is also professor in Hiroshima University.
Dr. Ria.
Dr. Ria also here. She's also professor in Hiroshima University. And this is Ria, Professor Ria. And as you heard that both of them are professor at the Hiroshima University. And this is Asmita, and they have the Indian restaurant business. And she's here for right. You have three restaurants. Yeah, and their husband, wife. They have three restaurants. You have children as well, I guess. So one children. So if it is 240 people, so three of them also here. Yeah. So you can mind three of them the restaurant. So what kind of job actually, since you have been living long time here, what kind of job people are doing here? Mostly restaurant and profession.
No, IT engineers.
IT engineers. These are students, IT engineers and professors and restaurant and. Other businesses like what? Spices. Okay. Diamond gold. So you can hear that diamond gold also, So it's so all.
No, Nupur, this is very interesting and very, very enlightening. Awesome global Indians everywhere. So nice to see. And I hope you've told them that millions of people in India are watching proudly as, our Desi brothers and sisters flourishing happily in Hiroshima and other parts of the world. One gets to see them in all their glory at a time like this when there are Indian visits to those countries. When the Prime Minister visits, he always makes it a point to meet with Indian citizens there. It's something very, very special. He makes time to meet all of these people. Are they all waiting for that?
They all are waiting for that. So you can see they all are waiting for Mr. Modi to come. All of them. We can see people really thought he will get to see. Look at this.
Wow, that's a big crowd.
Okay, Hiroshima में job करते हैं. यहाँ people हैं और आप कहाँ से हैं? उत्तराखंड से है और ये यंग है और ये जॉब करते हैं. मुझे लगता है कि ये लोग definitely they are going to you came as a student. Your family, your whole family is living here. As you can see that whole family is living. Oh my God, so person here. Look at this, and this is the Uttarakhand. All of them are from Uttarakhand. And let me just show you these beautiful faces, the young people. And oh my God, आप कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे? हाँ जी, गढ़वाल से है. हाँ जी, बोलिए. आपको जो बोलना है बोलिए. अच्छा, बहुत खुश है आज.
सुंदर सी प्रतियोगिता में शामिल थे.
बहुत खुश है. Actually, the thing is that all of them are actually very excited.
There's a bit of a breakage in your audio. We can hear you clear, but we can't hear the people you're speaking to. So let's keep the focus on you as much as possible. I'll come right back to you. We'll just try and fix that audio with you, Nupur. We lost that last bit, but Nupur is our face on the ground. She's giving us an absolutely superb flavor of Hiroshima with the Prime Minister landing there earlier. Just a few minutes before the Prime Minister landed, Nupur was speaking with Indians and Japanese officials and citizens there at Hiroshima while they were waiting for the Prime Minister to land. Here's that report.
Indians Philippines, but Japanese also waiting here, and her name is Arti. Arti-san, why are you waiting, and how do you feel being here?
なんで広島にいてるんですか？
なんで広島に来たんですか？
モディさんに会いに来ました。
モディさんに会いに来ました。So she is saying I'm here just to meet our Prime Minister. So, モディさんのイメージがどうですか？
もうスピーチがすごく上手で、もうすごいいい感じです。
いい感じですよね。So she is saying like she really likes Modi-san, especially when he gives speech. So, different speeches he has watched, and she really admires him. So you are very excited. So what is that making you come here? That you could have had your entire great evening at home. What is that making you come to see your Prime Minister?
Of course, I feel great because my country, my India, my Indian Prime Minister is coming. So I'm very glad to welcome him here.
Now remember, the Prime Minister is in Hiroshima for the G7 summit. India is one of the special invitees as president of the G20 right now. India is there for the G7 summit. I'm going to show you some data in just a short while to put into perspective, the G7 vis-a-vis the new rising powers of the world. But one of the the big ticket things that a lot of people are going to be looking out for in Japan on this trip is a meeting between Prime Minister Modi and the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. It will be the first meeting between the two leaders since the war between Ukraine and Russia started last year. I want to bring Gaurav and Geeta in on this. We'll have a guest from Ukraine also with us very, very shortly. Both Gaurav and Geeta, remember, reported extensively from Ukraine, including areas which had not been accessed by any other media team in the country. Gaurav, lots of anticipation always when the Prime Minister is on a multi-nation visit of this kind. He's got a whole stack of very crucial bilaterals lined up in Japan and elsewhere, but he is meeting Zelensky, and that is being seen as a big optical moment, and also something that people will be hanging on to, given that the world and Ukraine especially has been looking at India as some kind of a possible peacemaker in this war.
Shiv, that's the word, peacemaker. But the fact remains, are G7 countries looking for peace between Ukraine and Russia, or is their endgame defeat Russia and arm Ukraine even more with longer range missiles that UK appears to be doing, or more weapons as the United States appear to be giving at this stage, including longer range weapons, bigger tanks? India constantly, right from the beginning. Remember Samarkand 2022, when on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi met the Russian President Vladimir Putin, India said, this is not an era for war. This is the era for peace and cooperation. So what is India looking at? Peace, dialogue, diplomacy, and a solution. That's the point India will reiterate once again. Can India play a role? Of course, India is very well respected both by Russia. In fact, many world leaders say Prime Minister Narendra Modi is one world leader that Russian President Putin listens to and respects a lot.
Yes.
Same is the case with the Ukrainian president. Their deputy foreign minister was in India recently, and Ukraine is seeking India's help in rebuilding Ukraine. From healthcare to infrastructure to education, schools, school buses, rebuild Ukraine, all of that India can play a very crucial role, Shiv.
Very important role. We also have live with us from Lviv in Ukraine, Olga Vorozhbich. She's a senior journalist. She was part of our coverage of the war last year as well. Olga, good to see you. We'll go to her in just a moment. Before that, bringing in our foreign affairs editor, Geeta Mohan, also tracking all of these developments. Geeta was one of the few journalists, in fact, the only journalist from India, I think, who covered the war both from Ukraine as well as the Russian side. Geeta, how are you seeing this meeting between the Indian Prime Minister and the Ukrainian President? What's the current state of play?
Well, Shiv, this could have happened any time in the past as well. It was about the opportunity and the right time. The opportunity presented itself when Ukrainian president was invited and is going to be in Japan. So yes, there is going to be a bilateral meeting. India is uniquely positioned. Remember, when our students were stranded in Ukraine, there was a lot of cooperation between Ukraine and India, not just to get them out, but there are historical ties between the two countries. The External Affairs Minister, Shiv, had also said that there was a point when the Ukrainian side had actually sounded out to the Indian side to send across a message to Russia. So while there is no official mediator role that India has taken upon itself, India is playing a critical role, or could play a very critical role, in ensuring that if they have a message to give, there is no country in the West that Russia is going to engage on the issue of Ukraine. But yes, they might listen to India. So this is going to be a very important meeting. The Ukrainian president, of course, Shiv, like he has been doing with all other countries, will push India to support Ukraine. India is going to be very firm on its stand and where it comes from on India's foreign policy and the decisions it has taken so far. But with regards to concerns of a war, of a country invading the other, they are on the same page that peace should prevail. And in that, messaging and sounding out to Russia is something that India could agree to and the G7 could endorse. But the fact is that for Zelensky, this is going to be a very critical meeting. They had pulled out their ambassador, Shiv, from India because India was not taking Ukraine's side. Now let's see. For Ukraine, it's almost going to be like whether if Zelensky is going to be or will manage to really convince Prime Minister Modi to be or to take a side. India certainly is not going to do that, but this conversation is going to be critical.
Very critical conversation. Olga, what's your perspective on this from Ukraine? It's the first time that the Indian Prime Minister and the Ukrainian President will be meeting, since the breakout of this invasion that happened last year. There has been a lot of to and fro between India, Russia and Ukraine, lots of expectations as well. What do you think? What are you hoping will happen, maybe not just at the meeting, but perhaps after that?
Well, I'm really anticipating this meeting because, as you've probably already mentioned, I don't know, I haven't heard, but our Deputy Foreign Minister, Japarova, has just recently visited India, and I think it was a very important step for enhancing our political dialogue. And I think meeting with between two leaders is also an important next step. If you remember last year, the J20 head country, which was the head at J20 last year, Indonesia. So the president of that country, Joko Widodo, visited Ukraine. And I know that no Indian prime minister since since Ukrainian independence have ever visited Ukraine. So maybe after that meeting, I do hope this could happen also with Indian leader, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, that he will be the first Indian prime minister who will visit Ukraine during the period of independence. But this is just like my hope. But anyway, this meeting will show I hope, will show the enhancing of the political dialogue between our countries, because as you've probably heard that Ukraine, and it was said by our Deputy Foreign Minister and I think also by Foreign Minister in different interviews, Ukraine hopes that India can play a bigger and greater role in welcoming, in getting peace and bringing peace to Ukraine.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Olga, I just want to play out for you and for our viewers what the Indian Prime Minister had said not very long ago, because India has been at the helm of trying to broker peace in the aftermath of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. In his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin last year, Modi had reiterated India's call for peace. Here's what the Prime Minister had said the last time he spoke about the crisis.
आज का युग युद्ध का है नहीं, और हमने फोन पर भी कई बार आपसे इस विषय में बात की है कि डेमोक्रेसी और डिप्लोमेसी और डायलॉग, ये सारी बातें ऐसी हैं कि जो दुनिया को एक स्पर्श करती हैं। आने वाले दिनों में शांति के रास्ते पर हम कैसे बढ़ सके, उसके विषय में जरूर आज हमें चर्चा करने का मौका मिलेगा। आपका व्यू पॉइंट समझने का मुझे भी एक अवसर मिलेगा। यूक्रेन के संकट के आरंभ से ही हमने तुरंत युद्ध विराम का आह्वान किया और इस बात पर जोर दिया था कि विवाद को सुलझाने के लिए बातचीत ही एकमात्र उपाय है। हमारा मानना है कि इस युद्ध में कोई विजयी पार्टी नहीं होगी, सभी को नुकसान होगा। इसलिए हम शांति के पक्ष में हैं।
Olga, before I let you go, and we'll go to our reporters in Japan as well in just a moment. But before I let you go, Olga, are you hoping also that things not only move forward, but perhaps even in this meeting between the Indian Prime Minister and the Ukrainian President, there may be some kind of substantive takeaway?
Well, for our bilateral relations, I think for sure. In also bringing the peace, I do not think so, because Ukraine will have the peace only after we will have back all occupied by Russia territories. So that's why that Ukraine prepares for the counteroffensive. But I do hope for better cooperation between the two countries and for enhancing of the political dialogue, which I think is crucial for both countries.
Okay, Olga, thanks very much. Geeta and Gaurav, thank you also very much for joining me on this. A lot of anticipation about this meeting. We'll bring the both of you on board once again once that meeting does happen. I want to go straight back to Hiroshima now, where Nupur Tiwari is live with us, because she's been bringing us that absolutely inimitable flavor of the Desi diaspora. Waiting in anticipation with bated breath for the Prime Minister. As they wait, Nupur, just take us through what the Prime Minister's schedule in Hiroshima actually looks like. Could you just list it for us, Nupur?
Yes. Any moment, people are so excited here. Any moment he will be here. Any moment you could see, like, before the storm, everybody's so quiet. So everybody just becomes so quiet. We're just so excited. You can see these faces, these faces are, full of happiness. How do you feel, a young man? How do you feel? Little tired. Okay, you're very excited. So where did you come from? You live in Tokyo, and you came to see our honorable Prime Minister. Okay, and you are getting raised in Japan. So, as you can hear, that he never lived in India. He's born and raised in Japan, but still he has that roots. He has that connection that he is here from all the way from Tokyo. It is really far, all the way from Tokyo to see our honorable Prime Minister. You can see that people really spend their money, spend their time, and everything to come here and hear all the faces. Hi, hello. कहाँ से आए हैं आप? आप हिरोशिमा से। आप बताइए, आप क्या करते हैं हिरोशिमा में? आप जॉब करते हैं? कहाँ पे जॉब करते हैं? मजदा काम। ओके, मजदा में काम करते हैं आप। कितने साल हो गए यहाँ रहते हुए? 17 साल हो गए हिरोशिमा में। तो आज कैसा फील कर रहे हैं आप? बहुत बढ़िया फील हो रहा है। मतलब ड्रीम, आपका सपना पूरा हो गया आज, पूरी तरह सपना पूरा हो गया। क्या बात है। 12 बजे से आप वेट कर रहे हैं? 7 बजे वाले हैं। दिन के 12 बजे से आप कीजिएगा जी, है ना?
I think we've lost a bit of that audio there once again with Nupur. Nupur, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Go ahead. I think. Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. I think when you try and speak to others, the audio gets broken just a little bit. So, go. Please carry on. We're enjoying your live report. Go ahead.
Yes. So he said he has been living here from last 20 years and works for Mazda company actually, and he's so excited that he has been waiting since 12 p.m. in the afternoon, noon actually, and he has been waiting. So you can see that how excited this young guy actually came from Tokyo. He's born and raised in Japan, but still, this kind of connection, just to see our honorable Prime Minister. So these are the things that today affect Modi effect, and this beautiful lady just next to me, and how excited. You came from Tokyo, right?
Excited. I just traveled back to Tokyo yesterday, and I'm coming from Yamanashi, which is near Mount Fuji, 1,000 kilometers from here, just to visit our Prime Minister.
Just to see the Prime Minister.
Yes.
Just to welcome him. So you can just, as I said, the people are spending their money, they're spending their time, that everything just to a glimpse, you know, just
This moment is worth everything.
this moment is worth everything. I think
Money, energy, time you spend, Modi ji, just seeing Modi ji, meeting Modi ji is worth 1,000 times more than that. Yeah, everyone here would agree to that.
yes, exactly. So this is going to be really wonderful tagline. This moment worth everything.
Everything.
So this is
Where is
wonderful
Modi ji?
tagline
When
you
is
have
he?
given.
Nupur, where is Modi ji? When is he going to come and meet all these lovely people?
Yes, he's going to come and meet all the lovely people, actually. So that is the idea. Let's see. That is the, as of now, we know that he's going to come and meet these lovely people here. And they're very, very excited, as you can see, waiting here. And he's on his way. And सारे जहाँ से अच्छा यहाँ पे
Okay, Nupur is right in the middle of that small crowd of Indians waiting right outside for the Prime Minister's darshan. They're waiting for him to walk out, hoping that he'll be able to, walk by them and shake their hands. You know, it's the kind of fervor that you don't see very often, and it's a pretty typical signature part of Prime Minister Modi's visits abroad. He makes it a point to keep time aside for interactions with the Indian diaspora. It's his element, it's his wheelhouse. He loves spending time with Indians, and as you can see, these are all Modi fans. They've, as Nupur introduced all of us to some of them just now, people who've come from far and wide, people from Tokyo and other parts of Japan. They've driven down or flown down or whatever, just for this moment to be able to see the Indian Prime Minister. So his popularity with common people is something that stands tall and something that he values very much, and that's why he always keeps time aside to interact with Indians. That's where he feels most comfortable, perhaps. Nupur, a packed schedule in Hiroshima, though, as far as official engagements are concerned.
Yes, so I think tonight this is going to be, I think, welcome only. And after that, tomorrow is a big day for Mr. Modi. And it will be starting since morning with unveiling the statue of Mahatma Gandhi. And that is going to be really very important for everyone. Being in Hiroshima, the place which was actually hit by nuclear bomb. And then this, here, the unveiling Mahatma Gandhi statue here at that point. This is really amazing thing is going to happen. That is tomorrow. That would be the day will be starting. I think he will be starting the day, followed by G7, and there are a lot of bilateral meetings are going to happen. So tomorrow is very, very important day. We definitely give you all the coverage from here.
And they'll also very importantly. Very importantly, from a historical perspective, Nupur, just to tell all of our viewers that Prime Minister Modi is only the second Indian Prime Minister after Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru in 1957 to visit Hiroshima. Many leaders, of course, have been to Japan, but only the second Indian Prime Minister to visit Hiroshima. You know, everyone knows the significance of Hiroshima, and that's the reason why the Indian Prime Minister, along with the G7 leaders, correct me if I'm wrong, Nupur, will also be paying tribute at the Peace Memorial in Hiroshima tomorrow, right?
Absolutely, very correct. Exactly. So all the G7 leaders and this is a very proud moment for all Indians that the statue of Mahatma Gandhi will be unveiled there, and the place where the peace is very much was needed. And still the world, as Mr. Modi said, that the world doesn't need war anymore. It needs peace. So the same, the Hiroshima, he's starting that with unveiling the statue of Mahatma Gandhi. So what more we can expect, especially the India, it shows that India is really going to play a very significant role in making peace in the world. So we are the country, we are the people who spread peace. Tomorrow, after tomorrow, I think the entire world is going to say, and definitely the world say though, but still after tomorrow, it will be the Hiroshima is the place with needed peace, with with the unveiling the statue of Mahatma Gandhi by the Prime Minister of India in Hiroshima. It has a great significance and importance in the world politics, I guess.
songs also being sung in, in that crowd. We're getting footage from different locations. Let's just try and dip in and see what people are singing for the Prime Minister. Okay, it's night in Hiroshima. All of those Indians in that crowd are waiting for the Prime Minister to come out. There's going to be a big dinner tonight and then a lot of engagement starting tomorrow. The G7 summit, remember, is tomorrow, and the day after, the Prime Minister spends the next 2 days in Hiroshima meeting many of the G7 leaders, and then he will be flying off to Papua New Guinea, becoming the first Indian Prime Minister ever to visit that country. And then he will be making a brief stopover in Australia as well, where he'll be meeting his Australian counterpart and then similarly interacting with the Indian diaspora in Sydney as well. So it's something he's done before, and the Prime Minister has a packed schedule of 40 engagements as part of a 3-nation tour that lasts 4 days. 40 engagements, 4 days, 3 nations. Nupur still standing by with us. Nupur, the place where you're at right now, where are all these people standing? Is Modi inside? Is he going to come out? What are they telling you?
This is the Hotel Sheraton.
Yeah.
This is the Hotel Sheraton. And this is, I think, backside of the hotel.
So
And,
is Modi coming out soon?
Yes, yes. So he's on his way, and he will be here very soon. And that is expected. Everybody's watching. There's a very strict security is here. And so that is the reason I have never seen so much security in Japan, because of a lot of past incidents. I have never seen really. In my 20 years, I have been living here 20 years, but I have never seen so many security. So today, this morning, this morning, I was like, oh my God, Japan has so much security. So this is really absolutely different situation because of past events and Abe-san's assassination, definitely. So security is very tight here, and this is the Sheraton Hotel where Mr. Modi is going to stay tonight. And then I think this is he will be just taking rest. Maybe after the diaspora thing, he'll be taking rest. But me too, as I found out, a lot of Indian restaurants are here. I'm going to end my day with eating food here also, in Hiroshima also. So, So this is absolutely a wonderful thing is going to happen. The most important thing is, when the Tokyo and Osaka and the big cities, people are there, so there are a lot of Indians there. So people really don't get to meet Mr. Modi. Little bit glimpse they get. But here, he is here, not so many
Nupur, hold on a moment. Sorry to interrupt you, but there's some ladies behind you singing. We just want to get that sound in, and then I'm coming right back.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram.
भारत माता की जय।
वंदे मातरम।
भाई सब जोश कंटिन्यू रखो, अभी वो आने वाले हैं।
Nupur, obviously people, breaking into impromptu songs and, the national anthem and things. I think the mood over there is fully desi right now. And I'm not surprised at all because, India and Japan also have a very close relationship. I had the privilege of traveling to Japan in 2012 with our earlier Prime Minister, Manmohan Singh. And I remember the amazing friendship between the leaders at that time as well. Prime Minister Modi has taken it to the next level with his own personal touch. He had that very close relationship, with Shinzo Abe, with Fumio Kishida as well. There appears to be a pretty good rapport. So there is that personal touch when it comes to India, Japan. You've been there for 20 years, so you know that very well, Nupur.
Exactly. Let me tell you some stories actually, because I have lived in 7 places and a very few Indians lived in countryside. I've lived in all over Japan, 7 places in Japan. So I think it was around 2014 when I was in a small town.
and in Japan, and Japanese people are not so concerned about politics. So I was teaching in a high school there, and one of the teachers all of a sudden just came to me. I said, "Oh, you have got a really wonderful prime minister." I said, "Wow, the Japanese is talking about my prime minister, and they're really, he is making some noise." So that was really the first time I heard that Japanese, they are talking about the international politics, especially India. You wouldn't believe when the first time, 2003, when I came here, the place I was in Matsuyama, and I went to a place, I went to school, that was also high school, and when I said I'm an Indian, and they just started doing like the red Indian, like, ooh. So really, from there to 2014, when someone is one teacher, coming to me and saying we have got wonderful prime minister. So I think you can see the change, the way they see that India, the awareness about our culture, about our politics, that we exist. Really, India is not only country of curry and naan, like they call it curry, like sabzi and all those things. They call it curry and naan. They used to know only, okay, in India means Indian means Indogene, and curry naan. They used to say that that is the country about elephant, and Joe, they call Joe, and curry naan. But India totally, the image changed. Now they respect India. I'm not saying that they used to respect, but this is with a different eye they respect. It's
I
not
understand
only
what you're
eye
saying.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is like, wow, you are the country which actually you produce a lot of smart people.
No, absolutely. I know exactly what you mean, Nupur, and we're gonna talk about that in a little more detail. We understand that Prime Minister Modi is on his way to where Nupur is right now at the Sheraton Hotel. He's going to be reaching in just a few minutes from now. I'm taking a very quick break, I promise you. Just a 1-minute break, and we're coming right back, going straight back to Hiroshima in time for Prime Minister Modi's arrival at the Sheraton Hotel. Live pictures, you'll miss nothing. Right here on India Today. Back in a minute.
The heart of India's tech industry hosts a tectonic event. The latest updates in technology and innovation. The biggest names in Indian tech under one roof. From AI to 5G. From EVs to data security. Discover how technology is transforming our lives. Catch all the action at the BT Tech Today Congress in Bengaluru on June 2nd. Live across the Business Today multiverse.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
In terms of the geographical contribution of your revenues, take our viewers through how much of your business and profitability accrues from overseas operation and India. And in India, for example, fiber rollouts with Indian operators, you have orders worth 1,000 crore, for example.
Yes, absolutely. I think, and this is in line with the strategy of the company to continue to be global in our optical business in particular. So today where we are is broadly about 75-80% of our revenue comes from the optical business, and balance comes from our services business, and a small portion is now starting to emerge from our IT services business. So in that context, our optical business, which is the largest business, a good portion, probably north of 80% of our revenue, comes from outside of India, primarily from Europe and North America. So this is where we also shared in our result that over the span of last few quarters, we've been able to go very significantly from
Live in Hiroshima right now as the Indian diaspora is waiting in great anticipation for Prime Minister Modi to arrive at the Sheraton Hotel. He landed at the Hiroshima airport from Delhi just a short while ago, and he's going to be arriving to a big Desi welcome at the Sheraton Hotel in Hiroshima. Those are Indians there waving the Tiranga. Some of them who we spoke to just a short while ago on our coverage have come from far away. Some of them have driven down from Tokyo just to see the Prime Minister for a few minutes. Let's just listen into some of the voices and the songs coming in. Once again to Nupur. Nupur, any update on the Prime Minister's arrival? It could be any moment now, we're told.
It could be any moment. It could be any moment. Everybody is, when the storm comes, before that, totally, everybody becomes quiet. The situation is like that. They're anticipating. They have been waiting since now 12 p.m. As I said, so now people are kind of very quiet, so kind of like they're waiting when any moment he can come. And the next to me, there is a student who studies in Hiroshima University. Would you like to say something about what do you study and how is Hiroshima University?
So I study at the University of Karnataka.
So he's saying that Japan is a wonderful option for studying. So he's just saying that people, and he's on scholarship, next scholarship. Through your channel, it would be great thing to spread this knowledge that Japan has a lot of scholarship. You are on the next scholarship, right? Okay. So this is a wonderful thing actually, because many Indian students don't know about these scholarships. So it can through your channel, it can be like millions of people are watching. So students here, they can apply for different kind of scholarship. They should just look for those scholarships. Not only next scholarship, many private universities they give a lot of scholarship. So he's a master student. A lot of students you will find, but compared to UK and USA, it's very less, still very less people, very less students here who are coming, right?
Yes.
Why do you think it is happening?
I
like
think it is I don't think if you keep that aside, you can get good scholarships, you have good scope, good opportunities. The research is very nice.
Study, right? So did you ever, have you learned Japanese before coming here?
Yes, I am learning psychology. Difficult. Yes,
It's manageable. So you started learning after coming here?
Yes.
After coming here? 8 classes, okay. So, wonderful, wonderful. So, like, if somebody wants to apply for MET scholarship, what would be your advice for that?
Please check this website. Website. They put up there. There's a lot of YouTube videos. I did my. I think.
Anyone can do that, yes. This is another thing actually we should talk about, that scholarship and education in Japan is very advanced. The Japanese university, especially technical, very advanced. But unfortunately, Indian students don't get very much attracted to Japan, thinking about the language barriers, thinking about a lot of things. But trust me, this is the amazing place. The Japanese government is very helpful and full scholarship Indian students can get. But the awareness is not there, which actually I have been trying for many years to spread this awareness. But I think through your channel, it would be amazing, great days that the youth of India, the next destination is Japan. I think he has arrived here. So let's just show you that glimpse that the police is.
There it looks like the Prime Minister is about to arrive. Yes, Nupur, we can see everything from your camera. Keep it pointed there. The Prime Minister is about to pull in.
Look at the security.
It looks like that's Prime Minister Modi's cavalcade has just pulled in. Nupur continuing to report live. The Prime Minister escorted there by Japanese security as he arrives to a big Desi welcome at the Sheraton Hotel in Hiroshima. You'll see the Prime Minister in just a moment from now, kicking off a three-nation tour. So the Special Protection Group there, of course, in full force. They always travel with the Prime Minister. You'll see him in frame in just a couple of moments from now. The area getting a final once over before the Prime Minister enters the hotel. Big crowd of Indian diaspora there with their tirangas waiting to greet him. They've been singing Vande Mataram and Bharat Mata Ki Jai for the last couple of hours in feverish anticipation of meeting their Prime Minister. Okay, there's the Prime Minister. Indian diaspora officials, Desis who've come from different parts of Japan to meet him. I don't want to spoil it by talking over it. Let's listen into the sound from the ground.
भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की।
आगे बता नमस्ते कहते आयुषी Prime Minister Modi there in Hiroshima outside his hotel, where there's a huge gathering of Indian diaspora there welcoming, greeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Many of them thrilled to have met him. Let's get you those images where the Prime Minister was seen going right into that crowd, literally getting mobbed as he went in there. Little children also he was seen greeting all of them and blessing them. Nupur Tiwari is right there in the heart of all that action. Nupur, what a sense of excitement. I could see Prime Minister Modi literally getting mobbed there by the Indian diaspora. With Nupur in just a bit. We're having a bit of a problem connecting with her. Poor network, considering she is there with the Indian diaspora among so many of them. You can see the excitement at its peak there as so many of these Indians living in Hiroshima got a chance to click a selfie with the Prime Minister, got a chance to personally shake hands with him. There were little children who were getting blessed by him. And look at the way in which the Prime Minister went right into the heart of that crowd. And his security clearly having a tough time trying to clear the area, sanitize it as he walked right in the midst of that crowd, thanking all of them for their support, shaking hands with every one of them, greeting every one of them, even trying hard to pose for selfies, which was a little difficult considering the crowd that had gathered around him. The slogans of Bharat Mata Ki Jai, Modi, Modi, all through ringing outside the hotel in Hiroshima. And this gives you a sense of how popular really the Prime Minister's foreign visits are, because of that chance that he gets to interact with the Indian diaspora. Always a huge hit, and no different this time as well in Hiroshima, where the Prime Minister has been welcomed with huge, huge fanfare by the Indian diaspora. So these are the images that we're getting to you right now of the Prime Minister meeting with all these excited Indians standing, who've been waiting actually for hours there just for this moment of shaking hands with the Prime Minister, clicking selfies with him, getting him to bless their little children also. And the Prime Minister completely shedding all of the tags of being a Prime Minister or the security that he carries with him, walked right into that crowd, welcome, thanked them all for the support, was seen greeting every one of them. Security tried hard to pull him away, but clearly it didn't work. But look at the sea of people who had gathered there to welcome the Prime Minister.
He blackmailed Bollywood's Badshah. SRK Wankhede WhatsApp chats revealed. Wankhede was hailed for Aryan Hunt.